I am legit sick and tired of hearing business owners telling me we can't offer a discount in the pop-up form because X, Y, and Z. In this video, I'm going over why smart e-commerce brands have an offer in their pop-ups. Because this is actually just generational stupidity. So there's a profit margin myth, all right? Let's just address the elephant. Why would you give 10% away of your profit margin? That's throwing money away. That's BS. I hear this every single sales call I have with e-commerce owners who are just looking at discount pop-ups or any other types of offer in the pop-up through the completely wrong lens. And the reaction comes from viewing a single transaction in isolation rather than understanding the complete customer journey and your LTV. If you don't even know these two, get learning, please. So the data tells a much different story than all of these critics believe. And today I'm going to show you why offering a discount in your pop-up is often the most profitable decision you can actually make. Real numbers showing all of this good stuff. Why the lost margin mindset is actually just costing you and wasting you a lot of time and money. And how to calculate the true return of investment of your discounted pop-up forms. Because if you're leaving money on the table, it's because you're worried about protecting your margins. This guide will show you everything and change your perspective forever. So let's dig into it. But actually, before we dig into it, I am JP. I'm the co-founder of Marketing, where we handle email marketing for primarily we work with a lot of Scandinavian brands. We have German brands, English, and US brands. So we're based in Denmark, Copenhagen. You will get access to this doc where you can, just skim this all through yourself. Here's my LinkedIn, YouTube. Obviously, you're watching this on YouTube, Instagram, and our website. So here's the real math. Let's start with a real case study. We had a client called Bloomet. They went from 1.7% to 14% in conversion rate. This was done by another huge agency that these guys were working with. I won't name drop them, but one of like the biggest in actually Northern Europe, and it was just an absolute shit show. So we implemented a pop-up strategy that actually included a discount offer, even though they've been told that this hurts their margins, but they were on board. They were actually just saying to us, let's try everything. Like it can't be worse than this. So from 1.7% to 14%, that's an extra 3.5 million DKK, which is the Danish crown, indirectly attributed revenue. Let's see, in euros. So 3.5 million. That's almost 500,000 euros in more revenue. And that captured 26,000 new subscribers in just the first 2 months. The average e-commerce pop-up that converts around 3.5%, at least from whatever audit and all of the clients or prospects or businesses that I audit. And Bloomet is now converting this at a quadruple rate, like just on average, right? And that has a real good impact. So let's just take 5% for an example. There's a conversion rate, 14%. Might not sound dramatic, but let's just, translate this into actual money. If you have a 5% from, let's say you have 180,000 or 79,000 views, traffic side, visitors, whatever you call it, that translates to 9,000 subscribers almost. If you just adjust, if you do or have a conversion rate of 14%, which right here, that's 25,000 new subscribers. That's a difference of, 16. That's 16,000 in difference just because of this. It actually says it right here, right? So the lifetime value of these subscribers in this case, based on their data, that's 824. That's around 100 euros. So 16,000 extra subscribers times the lifetime value, that's almost 14 million in additional revenue. This is almost 2 million more in euros or dollars. So please tell me again how offering 10% discount was actually throwing away profit, because this is just pure math, and this is just one example that we have for our clients. So you want to always look at the lifetime value. Want to have this perspective, right? So critics that always say we don't offer, we can maybe do a competition on, and so on and so on. That is short-sighted, and it totally just ignores the fundamental concept of lifetime value. If you're running a competition or giveaway, you will get shitty leads on your list 8 times out of 10. If you run a based offer, it gives you more incentive, and your subscribers will actually always engage with your emails. So let's go beyond the first purchase. Here's the 3 real-world examples of how the initial discount actually pays off over time. Scenario 1, you have a low lifetime value. Scenario 2, you have a medium, and scenario 3 is very high, right? So let's take 3 lifetime purchases. Let's say it's 6 here and 14 here. Your lifetime in scenario 1 will still only bought from you 3 times. That equals to a return on initial discount of 29 times. If you have a higher LTV, that's 59 times. If you have 14, that's 139. We have some clients where this number is actually plus 80 purchases. Now you remind me why we shouldn't offer discounts in some of these. I don't know what just happened to my screen. I'll just fix that real quick. No, this one, yeah. So please, again, this is insane. So the higher your LTV is, the better, right? So would you invest the discount, which could be 5 euros, maybe 10 euros, in order to get this amount in return? Of course you would. You'd be stupid saying no. And that's exactly what maybe a discount pop-up strategy delivers. It could be some other incentive or other offer, right? So there's a hidden cost of not offering a discount. You might have guessed it from just looking at some of these stats and the math. But when you choose to not offer a discount in your pop-up, you're making literally, I don't know what you call it, but a retarded financial decision, right? So let's examine the true cost of higher margins but lower conversion rates. So let's say we have 100,000 visitors to your site, 5% discount or non-discount pop-up, you get 5,000 new email subscribers. At this currency, that's almost 4 million, which is great. Absolutely awesome. That's cool. If you can get a 5% sign-up rate on a non-discount pop-up form, of course, go with it. But if you can give a discount and have almost triple that in conversions, that equals to 14,000 more email subscribers. Let's just say your lifetime value is actually very low. This is around 100 euros in lifetime value. That's almost 12 million in revenue. So tell me again, how is this hurting your margins? You're actually, in this example, you're almost losing 1 million euros in lost revenue. And that's the real price you pay for protecting your margins. Like, this doesn't make any sense at all. Not at all. But what about the discount cost? Let's ignore the cost of discounts. If we assume your average order value or first order is like 500, this is around 80 euros. Okay, you give a 10% discount. In here, that's let's say it's 70 euros, right? Then this is 7 euros you get in discount. The total discount cost for 14,000 new, that's 720,000, right? So even accounting for the discount cost, you're still ahead by over 7 million, which translates to 1 million euros. So this isn't like theoretical. These are real numbers from real e-commerce business, from real clients, from real orders that I do all across the world. Because you've already paid for the visit, or you've already spent a lot of time pushing your organic traffic to get this, pushing your organic to get this traffic, right? There's two instances. You can get traffic for free or you pay for it. You go with ads or you go with organic. So one critical factor that discount critics completely miss is that you've already spent a lot of, on ads or time to get that visit to your site. So most e-commerce brands, they spend a lot on traffic acquisitions. Average Facebook cost per click, that's around what? $1-2 maybe. The Google CPC is $1-3. It's maybe a bit higher cost, also higher intent on purchase, but you get the point. The average conversion rate from visit to purchase, that's around 1 to 3%. 3% if you're really great at Facebook ads and TikTok ads and so on. So essentially, it means you're often spending, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000, whatever it could be, in ad cost just for each conversion. So when a visitor leaves your site without purchase or subscribing, you've already lost money. And if your margin is already fucked, then your investment is completely wasted. You need to have them join your email list, even with a discount maybe. And that ad spend can create a new opportunity for future revenue, right? So site visit, decision point, email capture, future revenue. This is a very simplified form, but you get the point. Because the true ROI calculation must include the cost to acquire the visitor. It's not your CAC, I don't know what to call it, CAV, cost to acquire a visitor, we'll call it that. And then you have the conversion rate with and without discount. Then you have your lifetime value, and then you have the cost of the initial discount. When you account for all of these factors, discount pop-ups or if any other offer pop-up forms dramatically are always more profitable than if you don't have a non-discount, or if you have a non-discount or non-offer. And then this is what I hear all the time. Some would have purchased anyway. Are you sure about that? How on earth will you know, or how on earth would you know about this? Everyone I speak with, they say, oh, we already spent on ads. Well, they came for Google. They will buy anyway. Or they clicked our ad. Of course they would have bought. Nope. And can you prove it to me? Because then I'll shut up. Let's just address this head on. The visitor segmentation reality goes into 3 categories, all right? You have your ready to buy customers. They will buy from you regardless or not. I do this myself sometimes. And then most of the times I'm on the fence, depending on, what do I need right here, right now. They might purchase, with the right incentive. And then you have the window shoppers or the just browsing, unlikely to purchase today, whatever you can throw into them, unless you give it away for free, right? So yes, the ready to buy segment would purchase without a discount, but they're a small minority of your total visitors, especially if you're scaling on your ad spend. So the much larger on the fence segment is where the massive revenue actually lies, in here. Most of us are here on the fence. The ones that are just browsing, that's the second, and then you have the third, which is the ready to buy right here, right now, right? So the some people would have bought anyway, yes, but no. And you want to make sure you're spending on this ones. It's the same with the unaware funnel or stages of awareness. You don't want to only spend on your most aware audience, right? So the math still works even if we account for the would have purchased anyways. Because let's assume that 15% of converted subscribers would have purchased at full price. In this case for Bloomin', that's 3.8 thousand subscribers out of almost 26,000. So the unnecessary discount cost, that's 200K almost. But this cost is completely dwarfed by the additional revenue from the remaining almost 22,000 subscribers who likely wouldn't have converted right here, right now without the discount representing over 18 million Danish crowns in lifetime value. This is almost 3 million euros. I think it's like 2.7 or something like that. So do you see the math in here? That even though you're still offering and your margins are low, you're just looking at the single transaction, and you can't build a business on a single transaction. Or you can build a business, but you're not going to be making a lot of money and being profitable, right? So the advantage is that when visitors join your email list, you'll gain benefits far beyond than just the immediate purchase, like the first purchase I'm just mentioning, right? So as an email subscribers, it provides multiple revenue opportunities. They get into all of your behavioral flows. They get into all of your campaigns. There's a lot of social proof. And then you also have the referral potential. You can take it one step, next step. And you can also, if they sign up for your SMS, right? You have a lot of opportunities to cross-sell and upsell to increase your average order value. And you have all the market intelligence, because all the data that you get from the customer that you can use to improve your marketing effectiveness, right? So the true power actually comes from how these elements works together. So you have the welcome flow when they sign up. This is where you welcome your new subscribers, right? The card recovery and your higher order values. All of this ties in together. So the initial pop-up discount isn't just acquiring the single purchase, it's initiating your entire ecosystem of all of these revenue opportunities. So here's how you want to maximize your pop-up discount. Because I think I have, convinced you that you got to do this, right? If not, you're being financially retarded almost. So let's talk about how to do this. Key elements of high converting discount pop-ups. I have a total another video specific on this. I'll just go over briefly here. But we want to have a clear value proposition. Make the discount benefit offer, whatever it is, instantly, and make that the main point. Have it around 8 to 20 seconds. It depends on your niche. We've seen actually some clients be annoyed that it is getting on 8%, and people are commenting on their Facebook ads, and actually, when they have the customer support, they're saying it's annoying that have these pop up, after 8 seconds. So it depends. In some instances, it works best. You want to have a single field form, only ask for the email initially. And sometimes you can do a little bit more if you want more data, but get the email first, and then we can ask for more afterwards. Always optimize for mobile, always. And then you have a strong CTA, all right? Go check out my other video on how to do a pop-up form mastery, I think it's called. So yeah, not all discounts are created equal. Consider these 5 actually strategic approaches. First, purchase limitation. Make it clear that the discount or the offer is only for the first purchase. You could have a minimum order value. We do have this on some cases. So we say you have to buy it for at least 50 euros or 100 euros, I don't know. Great emergency, you say when they sign up, they have 48 hours or 3 days or 1 week to actually use this offer. You could also do some product category restrictions. Again, it's a bit more into detail, but you can do it if you have some low margin products, or if you already discounted products can be used on these ones, right? And the last one, always have the correct filters and properties. So you only show these to new customers. You don't want to show the pop-up form to someone who is bought from you, so many times, right? And you want to measure the true pop-up performance, because this is where it gets actually kind of fun. You set it up and then you optimize it. So form view rate, how many seen your visitors, or your pop-up of the visitors. Submission rate, percentage of form viewers that has subscribed, and those who have subscribed who has actually made a purchase. Because the pop-up ROI is the total LTV of new subscribers minus your total discount cost divided by your total discount cost. So in this case for Bloomin', we have around 21.2 million Danish crowns in total LTV just from these subscribers, and this calculation I've done with you throughout this document. The discount cost is 1.3 million, so we are losing a lot, but the total ROI is 15.5. That's insane. That means for every 1 Danish crown they have lost, I actually want to mark this in bold, that they have lost to discounts, they have gained 15.5 Danish crowns in customer lifetime value. Just think about this when you're saying no to offers in your discount. So the strategic view wins every single time. The debate isn't about offers and discount pops. It isn't really about discounts at all. It's whether you actually take a short-term transactional view or a long-term strategic view of your business. Most people I talk to, they look at this and they don't think about anything about other than, the other perspective. When I explain to them, they're like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. We gotta have an offer, right? So short term, single transaction, they see discount as an expense. Ignore the CAC they have, they misses the lifetime value. I don't know why, but some people don't even know the lifetime value, results in fewer customers and lower total revenue. If you do the strategic way and looking at it long term, it's just the complete opposite of this. So the real question actually is not, can you afford to offer discount? It is, can you afford not to? Again, I actually want to mark this in bold because I think this is very important. So the bottom line is, for most e-commerce brands, the math is clear. Increase conversions, increase in lifetime value, and you have a positive ROI every single time. So the critics and people I speak to, even it's not e-commerce, it could be marketing managers or whatnot, that we are throwing away profit is simply wrong, and the brands who listen to them are leaving millions in revenue every single month because they're already spending time or money on all the other sort of stuff, right? So it's time to stop making decisions based on these profit margin myth, and you want to make them on data. All of this is data. This is not something that I've come up with. You can read our case study with Bloom. You can go into a Trustpilot and read the review. This is real. So the next step is you want to calculate your potential revenue gain from improved pop-up conversions. Do the math I just did. Design an optimized pop-up strategy with appropriate discount offers. Watch my other video in terms of the pop-up offers. And if you need help with all of this, obviously book your 15-minute intro call with me, and I'll go over actually your whole email account, not just your pop-up form. Book a call right here in my calendar. If you want to get our 80-page email marketing Bible, I will link all of this or this document in the YouTube description also down below, so you can get access to all of this stuff. But again, I hope you know why smart e-commerce brands have an offer in the pop-up forms, because it's very, very important. Peace.